So we have here Mark Hall, the lead singer of Casting Crowns, but first and foremost, a youth pastor, from what I understand.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have a new film coming out, Home by Sunday. Why was it important to do this film now?
You know, I fought them all the way to it because when they told me they wanted to make a documentary or a film about crowns, I thought I don't really have any car chases or shootouts in my life. I don't know what we're gonna do here, and we went back and forth a long time. My wife is usually the wisdom that in my life, and she said, "No, you got a story to tell. God's brought you through a lot." And I made a deal with him. I said, "Well, if you'll tell the story of the songs, and you'll tell the story of people that have been touched by the songs, and how God's used that in their life, we can do it." And that was my condition. So I think it's turned out really good. It's told a really neat story of just what it means to put your yes on the table and say, "All right, God, we'll do whatever you say." We've come a long way.
Absolutely. You made it very clear, and I brought that up a minute ago, but you've made it very clear in the film that you are a youth pastor first.
Yeah.
Why was that important for people to know?
Well, because I want to help believers understand that there's not a next level to the church. Um, the local church is extremely important, extremely vital. Um, the church is not a podcast. It's not some videos you watch. It's not books. It's people, a bunch of messed up people just like you that get together and know each other and get in each other's business, and that's a beautiful thing. And I think we retreat from that too much. And I think a lot of times uh, for musicians, there's a struggle in knowing, when am I actually legit? When does this become a thing? Like, I guess in any sort of profession, there's an idea of when it becomes established. And I think in church, we feel like it can look like sometimes that it's more of a stepping stone to something official. And I don't feel any more official in front of thousands of people than I do in front of the six, 8 or 10 high school guys I'm gonna meet with this afternoon.
Hmm.
You bloom where you're planted, and I think that's the story that I want to come out of it. Not, here's some really cool people you can't be, but you are not a part of the audience of Christ. You're a part of the body of Christ. And I my goal is that people walk away from this movie thinking, huh, if Jesus can use them, he can use us. Right. And that's what I need people to see.
Can you talk about what it's like being a youth pastor and a musical artist and some challenges that you faced?
Well, it's a totally different kind of bird because, student ministry is through relationship, it's through being with kids. So we knew it was going to be tough starting out. From the beginning, I brought on co-youth pastors to serve with me, and they were all like my former kids in the youth group. So I've had probably, I don't know how many that are now pastors, worship leaders, youth pastors, children's workers, and so I brought some of them on to lead, and I became their helper. I'm going to teach, I'm going to meet with the students that I meet with, but someone's got to be the guy. So I had to slowly start getting used to not being the guy, and focusing on a handful or a certain part of the ministry. So uh, that was really tough to start with, but I think we often get in the way. Once God gives us a ministry, we get in the way of it because it's our ministry all of a sudden, and we're guarding our thing, and when we're supposed to be just working our way out of a job.
Was the documentary, I call it a documentary, I'm a documentary buff, I love them. It was kind of set up like that. Was that true to the story?
Yeah, to me, it's a documentary, and I don't know what they're calling it now, but that's what it is, and it's kind of walking through what it looks like to be a youth pastor here, be on the road, how that works, and then what the songs have done in people's lives, and so I'm a documentary guy too. I think I've seen maybe every music documentary that there is. If there's I'm looking for the one that I haven't seen these days. And the fact that we're 20 years and we're still together, um, all the members of Crowns work in ministry too. So we're all leading worship at our churches on Sunday, and we're all pouring into students through the week. So it's that's the common denominator, is that Jesus has given us all kind of a like mind.
What do you want people to think of when they think of Casting Crowns?
I want people to see that they all have ministry, and that ministry is taking what you do, your gifts, your talents, your skills, and saying, how can I point people to Jesus with this?
Right.
And that's what your ministry is going to be. Ministry is not talking and singing in front of crowds. That's what church accidentally teaches, because we all go and we sit and we watch, but that's not ministry. So, well, that is, but that's not all it is. And I I want people to be empowered. I don't want people to walk away thinking about us at all. We're just running a lap with you on your race. So you walking away thinking we're cool, we blew it. So you need to. I hope everybody sees these are like less than ordinary people, and if God can use them, He can use me. That's the goal.
And you touched on this a little bit, but what do you want people to take away from this film, Home by Sunday?
Oh, I guess that was it. I got ahead of myself, didn't I?
You can add anything.
I want people to walk away seeing that this little LD kid from Alabama, who tried his best to stay in the back of the crowd, followed Jesus out of the back of the crowd. And that didn't mean God fixed his problems, because I'm still dealing with it. But something happens when you step in over your head, and you're asking God to help you the whole way. Um, that's what I want people to see, because then maybe they'll step out too.
Well, what is next for Casting Crowns?
We are just finishing up our 20th anniversary tour, the first half. So that's happening now, and just keeping moving forward. As long as we're in the church, we'll be writing music. So that's what all this is. It's just overflow of what's happening here.
Well, is there anything I haven't asked you that you think our readers would be interested in about the film?
I think one of the sweetest stories in the film is my drummer, Jack. I don't know if you got to see it, but
I've seen it twice.
oh, really? Um, he's such a sweet kid. Uh, God's brought him through so much. I really see God using that story, and just seeing that God can rescue you from anywhere. That's a big deal.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I really appreciate it. I'm excited for people to see this film, enjoy it as much as I did, and learn so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.